Okay. Okay. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, from wherever you are around the world. We'll be discussing in a bit, discussing the state of the market with Cryptosenko. This is an impromptu live session. Hi, Isaac. Good morning. Please confirm if you can hear me. Uh, I think uh, I think we've gotten it right this time. I tried to join a few minutes ago, and it's I tried to join earlier this week and it didn't go through. So Isaac says he can hear me. All right, great. All right, okay. Let's get this ship going as we wait for Chenko to join us. So I was last week. All right, I see Rono in money 9073. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. So let's get the ship going. Let's talk about the markets. Last week was let's pull out the numbers. Luckily, we have the NGX weekly report out in good time, and let's see. I know the markets were down this week, but let's see the worst. best performing stocks for the outgone week. And so when I say this week, I mean the outgone week. So what do we have? Let's fish out the numbers. Feel free to drop your questions. I can see the questions. I can see the YouTube chat. So we're good to go. What do we have? Last week, the all share index fell by 1.21%, which isn't a bit, it's not a big decline. Index down by 1.21%. Best performing stock was Airtel Africa, which I find strange because Airtel Africa is such an illiquid stock. I think, frankly speaking, the firm needs to, management of that firm needs to work on their, um, either work on making the stock more liquid on the Nigerian end or maybe look at the listing because there's no point. I doubt that stock traded typically on an average day, it might trade maybe 5, 10 units a day. So, a tip on full bid, does it signify a change of momentum in the market or a dead cat bounce? Let's see what the technicals tell us about tip. Tip, by the way, is short form for the Initiates PLC. So let's see if we can pull it up. Will it pop up? I'll spell the entire thing out. The Initiates. Or do I look for TIP? Will it pop up? I'm not seeing it on my chart, so let's go to Initiate PLC Trading View. I wonder what's the ticker symbol on Trading View. Okay, I see Senko has just joined. Senko, I'll bring you up to the stage. Senko, can you hear me? Let me see. Is there a way to bring you up to the stage? How do you do that? Okay, yes,
Yeah.
figured it out. Yeah, I hear you now, Senko, loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking you could hear me. I was saying TIP. I couldn't
Yeah,
hear you.
someone had asked a question about TIP, and maybe I'll just answer the question, then we can get right into the matter. Let's see what the technicals tell us about TIP. TIP was one of the top five gainers, I believe, yesterday. We had five stocks appreciate by 10%. I'm looking at the chart, at least on a daily, the charts are neutral, but maybe I need to let me go a bit further and let's look at the charts in terms of classic and Fibonacci. TIB closed at 25 naira 85 kobo a share. If you're looking at it on the classic side of things, that will put the stock at just above the S1 zone. If you're looking at it at the Fibonacci level, put the stock around S2. So depending on whether you're using classic or Fibonacci at 25.85, TIP is between S1 and S2 support zone. I'm looking at the averages. The moving averages, are mostly sell. EMA, SMA, mostly sell. You see a bit of buy when it comes to the 100-day EMA, 100-day SMA, 200-day EMA and SMA. But if you're looking at the short averages or the shorter term averages, 10, 20, 30, 50, both EMA and SMA, they're both saying sell. So, I mean, I think the movement of TIP will depend on the movement of the overall market. Um, if we have the overall market go up, then you might see TIP continue to rally. But let's also look at the overview. Let's look at, I'm pulling up my charts. I want to look at the 5 year or the 1 month, 1 year chart for TIP. Let's see if we can figure out where the support zone is. Um, I'm looking at the 1 year chart, and the support zone seems to be the 14.95 range. But if you look at the 6 month chart for TIP, your support zone probably comes in around the 19, 18, 19, 20. Uh, Unfortunately, I'm looking at, I'm using Trading View. I can't figure out my I don't see 3 months charts here. If not, 3 months would have been nice to be a bit more accurate. But whether you use 6 months, whether you use 1 year, uh, key support zone probably. I mean, I'm looking at April. At April, this stock was trading around 1920. So we're actually not far from maybe what I would call the short term support because the stock is at about 25.85. I think the highest it has done this year, at least in the last 1 year, is 39.45. Uh, we've had quite a bit of a dip in the stock. So I don't quite see. Isaac, unfortunately, it's not possible to share my screen, but I think having gotten the hang of things now, probably what I'll do sometime in the coming trading week, I'll probably pop up and share my screen. I would share my screen. I can do tears. Right now, I want to converse. Right. So, Senko, over to you. Last week, market was down by 1.21%. Are we seeing a minor recovery or are we seeing a dead cat bounce in the market?
Uh, Very beautiful question, Onome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are watching us from. Over, if you recall, when I spoke about the ASI consolidating around the 250,000. So again, in technical terms, we call it distribution zone. I started my concerns were the ASI was losing that 250,000 point psychological level, and this was around April when I wrote about a detailed analysis on my X handle. That was in sorry around May. I mean May, and I kept talking about that it's high time the ASI, you know, um see some corrections, and after having run to about 60%, uh, I was already drawing that warning or making people understand that hey, we've come to this zone and there seems to be distribution. And when you understand when you talk about market cycle and the phases of market cycle, when there's a consolidation, when there's an accumulation, that for an accumulation means that okay, people are buying, and it's just matter of time before we see a breakout and a continuous uptrend. We saw that we are doing accumulation around the 440 to 500 region before we got a massive breakout, and already ran as high as 2024 naira per share. For the ASI too, we saw that, and that was in May. I think the analysis was done in May, and I started warning, and I gave two levels, and it's unfortunate I can't share my screen. So I'm going to
You can actually share your screen. Let me see. I can
okay.
adjust the settings so you can do so.
Let me see if I can.
How do you do that? Um, let's try to figure out this. How can you? This is. Can I see if you can share your screen?
Okay, confirm if you can share my screen.
Have you shared your screen?
Hold on, I'm trying to share the entirety of my okay, see, so like I can be able to navigate. So confirm if you can share see my screen.
I can't see your screen, but I'm not sure if I'm not quite
I
sure
am.
how to do the settings. Okay, wait. I see your screen now. I see your
Is
screen.
it very clear? Is it clear? I'll ask the audience
Uh,
if they can see our.
I don't think the audience can see it because I'm looking at YouTube. I'm not quite sure how
What the,
to how to get them
there's-
to see your screen. Okay, I think I know what to do. I'll add that. Add yes, we're done. Perfect. So I've added your screen to stage.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
you've added this to the stage.
Right. We can see your screen now. Good.
Oh, okay, very. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So, okay, all right, good, good, good. So let's just go back to the SI. So, oh, let's go now. When we were in the distribution phase, so let me pick my tool and show people what I meant by the distribution. After hitting 254,000 points, right? We got an instant rejection at the 254,000 points, and the ASI continued to, distribute around it too. And when there's a distribution, the next thing that follows is when people, the big guys, are trying to, rotate and get out of the market. You'll be selling around each other, and you say, oh, the market is very liquid. You can buy and sell around these prices. People were buying and selling around there 19 2000, 1998, 18, 17, 16. Very, very beautiful. So the distribution phase was here. And the next thing that follows a distribution phase is a breakdown from that channel, because that region will no longer be able to hold. And right now, the 250,000 is now looking at like a resistance level. Right now, the resistance level, which is now already even far away. And the analysis that I gave, I said two levels that will come in handy. I was, I was left to me. I was only expecting that 239,000 hold, because again I was expecting like a normal minor correction that we see the market do. If you check what the market has done in recent, like if you look at month to date, I mean for monthly analysis, like where there are corrections, for the NGX from September, or in sometime around May or June, you see that maybe the ASI for that month does lose maybe at least maybe 3 to 5%, like averagely. But again, the ASI has extended its losses from the 254,000. If I layer that down to this region now, the ASI, I mean, to this part, because again, we got a slight bounce. Now, the ASI is down by 9.92%. But before the ASI, again, if you remove the Ethel, the Ethel bullish run on Friday, would have said that, oh, the ASI was down by 11.55%. Now, should the ASI come back to 223,000, we'll be seeing that the ASI for like from the all-time high to current level, the SI will be losing like 12.18%. Now, yes, like I said, it's still fine. The SI is still fine till we lose this structure. If we lose this structure, then there's a problem. That's why, and I said in my analysis, we lose the 223,000. The next best region, I just think that the SI could do is maybe we'll come back to the 200,000 psychological level again, between 200,000 to 204. That's the next place. And with just matter of time that we might even just come and hit the 197, 195. But I don't see that happening. But anything again, like I said, in the market can happen. But these possibilities are here. That's if we lose the zone. Now, what do I mean by if we lose the zone? If we lose the zone and this sell-off continue, and maybe the market is getting a feeler that now if we lose it, does mean that maybe FTSE is not going to add Nigeria to the index. And if FTSE is not adding Nigeria to the frontier market index, since we're still unclassified, I would just say we might just be into another trouble. I'm sorry, I'm trying to pick up a tool. Where's it? Okay, Pat. Okay. Now, what I'm saying is, if we lose something like this, then I expect like a retest and a continuation bound to this side. So, but for now, this is not. I'll say this is not a bearish retest for now, because we're still trading around the levels, the key levels. But the angels will have a lot of work to do. Like the ASI will have a lot of work to do in terms of recovering these losses. That means the likes of Boa Cement, Dangote Cement, Dangsem, MTN. They need to start um recovering those losses, and we start seeing that. And this region now, the 239,000 region now a has not turned into a resistance. So for now, it's not a bearish retest till we lose this. Now, when we lose this, there will be a breakdown. Then I expect that market go for the bearish retest and continuation back to this key SNR level zone for the ASI. So a lot of things have, a lot of things when you look at this, like what's happening in the market, why the market is this way and all those things like that. You ask, you ask some certain questions, and then you think about, okay, what's happened in the market. Now there were stories as to why, like as to what really happened in the market. Now, number one story, like there were three things that really affected the market. Number one was like I said, I will not stop mentioning the private placement of the Dangote refinery. You look at the Dangote, so it sucked up liquidity from the market, and it was not really a good thing. Some houses were selling off their securities. If I talk about securities, that means stocks, bond, for them to fund their positions, and definitely it's going to affect the market. The number two thing again that really that affected the market, we'll talk about again, is the 50 again, but that's again, the news was already known by the foreign participants. The news, that was why we're getting this large sell-off before the announcement came that, oh, Nigeria is under them, or we'll get our final verdict in August, that it's under review. But the market already knew about that news, and that was like it's the sell the news event, and we got that. So two things. I'll come back to that this thing. Or maybe you might have further questions, or might want to touch more on the 50, the T plus one cycle. But we need to even explain to people why that T plus one. Again, we were from the onset. Charles already said it on the X space. He was the first person that started questioning, why are we rushing to T plus one when we have not even like utilized or fully, enjoyed the T plus two kind of thing, settlement day. And this again also distorts the market in terms of the liquidity flow. Again, everything, especially you're talking about a frontier market. I mean, Nigeria is not yet a frontier market, like, and like an unclassified market where everybody is like, they want liquidity. Like our market, you just have to manage liquidity issues. Our market is not even efficient, first of all, in terms of liquidity efficiency. It's not. So, and you're not doing again a T plus one means that you just want to kill the market. I'm not saying that T plus one is bad. Nobody is saying T plus one is bad, but doing it too quick, without even talking to these main guys, just shows that our market, and again, this again has shown that our market is not even largely driven by these domestic funds that we've been saying. Because the big guys, when they just come, yes, they are smaller in number, but when they do transactions, when they do volume, you can ask your brokers, when they do this volume, you feel the impact, because they are converting their dollar when they are when that money coming via their custodian. Onome, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Senko. I hear you loud and clear.
So when they convert that money, is huge. And if you go and check the FPI MBS, we can also, I can pull up the screen. If you check what the FPI were doing and every other thing, and if you check the FPI for those that the foreign guys that traded in shares, it was around $75.3 million hitting the market. $75.33 million as reported by MBS. When you look at this kind of thing and you convert that money in from you convert that kind of convert that money, you know what we're talking about here. It's not child's play money. I'm not saying that our local institutions can and do not have the I'm not saying they don't have the capacity. They do, but again, there's a limit. You look at the pencom, there's an art, like you look there's a minimum that they can do. So these are the things that we need to put into the right perspective. And also again, the other thing again was again the debts that I keep on saying, the swap and all those things. If though that's still long term, that's still but again, we need to call that out, because if should that swap deal, and I explain it for those, you can go to our X the Greenticker handle and search for, I think, when did we talk about the old core structure? I spoke
I
about
think it was
swap.
about, was it 2 weeks ago or so?
I think
Two
I
or 3 weeks
yes,
ago.
yeah, something like that. So you can go there and watch the and listen to that distance, because again, there's a lot. I broke it down. I broke the old core structure. I even broke the swap deal. that Nigeria did. So I don't want to waste time talking about that. Overall, markets, like I said, we're still at a very good region. The ASI is still bullish for me, but for now, I'm short-term bearish. Like I said, to one person, I responded to someone. I'm short-term bearish, but overall, in the long run, like I'm still like the chart still shows that the ASI is still it's still respecting key levels. I still respect, still bullish, and there's no cause for alarm till we lose this zone. And if we lose this zone, and I expect that the big boys start coming in to start mopping up these prices, because again, you many of these stocks are sorry.
Yeah,
Hello,
there's a
can you
bit
hear
of
me?
noise. I hear you,
Is
Senko,
it?
but there's some background noise when you tap your screen. I don't know if you're using the top.
Oh, oh, okay. Oh, maybe I
Yeah,
allowed
so
the
you're
noise.
tapping either your screen or tapping your mic. Yeah,
Oh, okay. How will I not talk? I need to tap my screen, and if I'm, is it bad?
it's gone now.
How about now?
Gone. Yes, okay. Just try not to tap either your screen or your mic. You're tapping something from time to time. So if you don't tap it, like now, I can see you moving your cursor. There's no tapping sound, so we're good now.
It is only when I want to draw a line, but I will try not to draw any line so that it will not make that
Okay,
noise. Yeah.
okay.
So as the case will be, like, okay, then many of these equities are mispriced. Yeah, again, I don't want to just start showing people about what we are here again. I always tell investors, your number one goal is, yes, you want to make money, but your number one goal should be risk management before making money. If you know you are doing anything, you must apply risk management to whatever thing that you are doing, especially for a volatile. You can lose, like many of the equity stocks, especially for the insurance companies, they are down 60, 70, 65%. Their sooner assurance has been in a 2 year bear market, multi-bear market run. So you have to manage again, invest what you can afford to lose, so that you won't be like crying and every other thing. But do I see opportunities in this market? Of course, I see opportunities in this market. If we get this FTSE thing under the table and everything is good, then we should see a very strong reversal again. But we still have to throw caution again to Dangote refinery IPO coming up in September. Now yesterday we saw that the shareholders have approved for Dangote Cement listing. To the listing process should be carried on, which is good for the market, which is good for Dangote Cement. I mean, being listed on the London Stock Exchange. So we should see some movement. That's if the market conditions are right, and if there is no other thing disrupting the market. And I said something again, that the only catalyst that I see that can propel this market is MTN. And I keep on saying it, but people don't. And I will explain maybe during the course of I won't during the course of uh the show, or during the course of this discussion, I'll explain why MTN will might be the major catalyst to this market. For now, market is, yes, market bounced, but if we remove, I always discount Ethel, because Ethel is illiquid, and I don't even want to discuss about them. The only major thing is just the list. If you know you don't want to, if you don't want Nigerians to hold your stocks, and rather than putting us under that stress by going to the London Stock Exchange, how many people have the opportunity to go to the LSE and buy from the LSE? What platform even give many people that opportunity? Not, you can't just one platform. I mean, some platform, but the platform, again, you must maintain a standard minimum account of 10,000 euros. That's a standard account. And how many Nigerians can afford a 10,000 euros using an exante? For instance, that's again, how many Nigerians can afford it? That's a very big question mark. So this is not a bearish a dead cat bounce for now, not a dead cat bounce. A dead cat bounce is when we lose this level and we retest it. Maybe we lose it and you see market rally back again, back to this zone. This zone now becomes a resistance. When we lose this level, becomes a resistance, and we continue to go down, and it's not going to look very good again, meaning that the ASI might be extending losses back and 17, like in 3 months. ASI, oh sorry about that noise. The ASI losing like 20%. That's not, then we're already going into a bear market territory if the ASI loses that. And I, let me not say I do not see that anything can happen in the market, but I do not see that happening for now because the conditions are good. I expect that the markets now would be will rally, and that's from maybe during the summer, then pushing off again when pushing off in September, because we don't know how the IPO will be. But for now, we should expect consolidation around this level before we now start seeing a major bounce. Then there's the pre-election scare again that we need to put also at the back of our mind. So for now, we are in a critical level, and the ASI must not lose that critical zone. Over to your moment.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering that from a fundamental level, from the fundamental basis, because um, my pre-market coverage of the market, you can say, I mean, when you look at a WAPCO, I'm not sure what WAPCO is, but I think WAPCO should be back above 300. You look at a Zenith Bank as, I think, 104 and some fraction. Fundamentally speaking, these stocks are quite cheap. So, what should a fundamental investor with maybe a 12, 24, or maybe a 24 to 36 months timeline do? Do you cost average, or do you wait for a further pullback? Because I mean, I look at some of these numbers. Zenith is trading at what, 104. Book value for Zenith, I think, is 120 or so. Even if you don't want to use book value, you want to use cash flow per share. I think cash flow per share for Zenith should be around 118 naira, 120 naira. So a lot of these names are cheap fundamentally. Does one wait for a pullback, or do you just start cost averaging from here?
Very, very beautiful question on my. So for as a long-term investor, um, the, your goal for long-term investor is, am I always tell people this thing as a long-term. Am I really owning this kind of company with good amount of units? As a long-term investor, what I would expect key investors to be doing for long-term investors to average down for their value stocks. You're seeing trading at a cheap valuation, buy at key levels, not just because because the price is trading at this price you want to rush out. No, because there can be another 10 to 20%. Buy at key levels. And again, these prices, the way WAPCO is even trading at currently, again, if you look the analysis I wrote, I said anything below 300, which is trading at 200, and now trading at 291. Key region was 294. So of course, I will start averaging my positions on WAPO. And as a long-term investor, you need to have, how many units do I want to buy for this company? That's the question you want to ask yourself. You know that what, okay, when again we are factoring that, oh, this company is not coming anytime soon to the market to, even if the company is even coming to raise money and all those things, you have a target unit that you want to buy for this company. And you know that, okay, I'm not going to, it's not, I'm not doing it in tranches or not in bulk. I'm not buying it instantly. There are times like this, you must have cash at that moment to pick up these prices. And many of these big stocks that you just mentioned, some of them are mispriced. Right now, market is already mispricing them. So, how I expect long-term investors to be doing it, buy at these levels, buy at the key levels, and so that it's water down their average, I mean the average cost price, and also increase their units in the company, because when the company is going back or reversing back to those levels, you definitely, these companies will break their previous all-time high and create new all-time highs.
Okay, let's move to the insurance space. the insurance sector is in a tight corner. Tight in the sense that for you have some of them that are in the market. I think Regency Alliance Insurance has its rights issue in the market at the moment. You may have a few other players in the insurance space warming up to raise money, even though I don't know how they're going to be doing it because I believe July is the deadline to meet the new capital requirements. How do you think that sector will play out? And this is a sector that I think is probably one of the worst performing sectors on the NGX, I believe, this year. Um, so clearly, insurance and I think oil and gas are one of the worst performing sectors. You can correct me if I'm wrong. How do you see this sector playing out? For those that need to raise money, how or if can they raise money in the bear market?
Again, everything for insurance, I will first start blaming what's their name, what's this person's name. I'll blame the regulators. I will blame the regulators for all these things that is happening in the insurance space. No communication, clarity is next to none. This index, the insurance index, let me even tell you, year to date, sorry, let me pull it up. I just want to be sure that what I'm doing on the screen is almost similar to what these guys, my people, sent to me. Um, so all these things boils down to the regulator, the NICOM guys not communicating their plan. And we got a double, okay, triple bottom around this zone. We got a bounce, and this is already playing accordingly as to how I said this is a this is the worst performing index. That's the NGX INX, and now as we were talking about the insurance, I quickly pull it up from my screen. First, I will first blame the Nikon for not coming up with cogent or coming up with clarity, for these companies. Um, Many of these insurance companies, I mean, some of them are capitalized already, and while some are not capitalized. And now, if you look at how, for instance, universal insurance is struggling. Universal insurance cannot raise money. You can't raise money in a bear market or in a market that is facing multi corrections. It's still going to be difficult because a lot again, investors will not even they won't be willing to buy what you are quoting as the valuation of your stock, like in terms of how much people should pick up their rights. They would rather go to the floor to buy it if they still believe that, oh, these companies have something fundamentally strong. An example is Regents, the Regal Links. Again, market fell. They kept, and also the companies too also have a blame in this. Number one, how can you not release your 2020? Correct me if I'm wrong. Onome, has Regal Links released their 2025 AFS?
No, they have not.
They have not. So these are the issues. And it's even a kind of a red flag. And I'm disappointed in them because I don't know why a company like that with that caliber not be able to release their result. This is we're going into the 7th month. These are the issues. And there's no sanctioning from the NGX, no suspension from the NGX that such a company has not released their result and just still allow them to trade or go on. These are the issues. And they now, when they saw that the market was now going down, they just quickly they all of a sudden they announced that they were going to um, uh, start their rights. You don't do that during a bear market when people don't have money or people are hurting in the market because of the prices that we are seeing. It's very difficult for you to raise money during the bear market. It is very difficult everywhere. Ask everywhere. Ask even no investor will want to put money when the market is downtrending, like just for a short period of time that is downtrending, or there's a pullback, a serious pullback, a serious a good correction that is going on in the market. Nobody will want to pay for such company. They will rather go buy it from the floor. And that's what we're seeing on for the insurance space. So it's going to be it's rough. I know some of them are happy with what they are seeing. As long as Nothing is happening to their, to their business and every other thing. Some of them are happy. No statement, no anything, and this is the result. And should the NA and the NGS year to date is 11%. So should they lose this zone? Should they lose this? Should they lose this key zone of 1045.5, of which we bounced again? You can see, if you remember again, we spoke about this when we launched this, launched this live. We spoke about that when we launched it live, right? uh the live that was last week, and I said something like, this is not going to look good if the NGS INS loses this 1045.5 points. The next zone that we are looking at is, we are coming back to the January. Oh, sorry, that's not me. We're coming back to the January 2025 monthly high of 899.7 points. You know what that means? Meaning that many of these companies, I mean, that means the likes of NEM, even NEM was losing, NEM Insurance, Consolidated, I'm calling it ICO. ICO was down. ICO really pulled down the index. That was like as of last week, before they recovered on Friday. Slightly recovered on Friday. Not that they even recovered, because they've lost their key zones too. Now, mean that all these guys will bring down this index again back to the 899.7. And don't forget, this index from its previous all-time high in August, that's August 2025. This index is down by this index is down by 37% from its previous all-time high. And as of even Friday, during the intraday trading, it was down by 39%. Doesn't mean that this index will not be down by 47% or 48%. That's more koboko for individual insurance stock. So it will be difficult for investors, and I'll say investors, yes, there are still opportunities in the insurance space, and I still believe that this is the sector that will meet multi-millionaires. Because it's a laggard now does not mean that in the future this guy will not run. Again, this is where I see the major the major opportunity. Who would have thought that the FMCG would just overtake the bank as of last year? Now, even this year, the oil and gas started, first quarter and every other thing. So again, all I'm just trying to say is that, all I'm just trying to say is that all these things, when we look at all these factors, NICOM is to be blamed. Companies not companies that do not take their business serious, especially for regulars that have not released their results, also we need to blame them too. And anybody that is trying to raise money during this bear market, I mean, not a bear market, let me mind my statement, during this correction phase that we're having, this correction phase that we're having in the market, I don't think that person is serious, and I don't think that they'll be able to raise that kind of money. But we saw the likes of Linkashaw. Linkashaw was raising money during the bull market, and they did well. You saw that it was oversubscribed. So for Linkashaw, but for the other guys, I don't know. It will be very difficult for them to raise this money from the market, because people will not will rather buy on the floor when they are seeing that the prices are cheap on the floor. And if I were some persons, or if I were some of these insurance companies, again, their time is the time is no longer on their side. They just need to work with the market and be realistic to what the price of market is saying in reality. Thank you.
Right. So let's look at some of the names that haven't quite dropped in the market, or maybe haven't dropped to the levels people are expecting. I mean, look at the likes of Unilever, Nigeria, UAC. At what point are we going to start to see those stocks dip? Because for some people, their prayer is, I need to see those stocks dip so I can get in. When are we going to see some of the names that haven't really moved, but you would expect to move? I mean, when you think of it, in a market where you have had the ups and down movements in the liquid stocks, or let's say for fundamentally sound and liquid stocks, um, have moved, such as your MTN Nigeria, your Zenith, your GTCO. You've seen the swings in those stocks. At what point do we see the fundamentally sound but less liquid stocks? At what point do we see those stocks start to move downwards if the market continues to dip? Because when you think of it, this market was, in fact, the fact that you had Airtel Africa appreciating by 20% this week and still the market went down by a bit over 1%, it means that if you don't have any movements, big cap movement next week, we most likely could see either flattish movement or under dip. When do we see those likes of Unilever and Co start to move in the market?
Very, very nice question. Very beautiful question. And even as of yesterday, I was telling the WhatsApp folks yesterday that pay more attention. So I was advising the WhatsApp folks now, pay more attention to companies that have been holding steadily and they've been holding their own. And you rightly mentioned USCN, Unilever, even though Unilever too still shed some blood. That was over the last 2 weeks. USCN has held its own. I don't see USCN like dropping so much. Again, results coming. A lot of things are going on. I can tell you for a fact that USCN, they have a market maker. So even for the banks too, it would have been bad. They have market makers. They have the market makers that have kept this steadily for the banks. So that's why you see that banks are very, very liquid. So for USCM, um, when we start seeing these crazy dips, then yes, we can say that yes, there might just be panic mode. Then I would call it a capitulation mode where everybody like the when we had that in November, we call it where everyone like wanted to just get out of the market. The foreign guys especially, they were just dumping and they were just throwing everything into the system that they didn't even care. They just wanted to exit. Um, that would be a capitulation move and it suppresses all stocks and all prices. But for now, all I'll just say is that for USCN, so for now, all I'll just say is that for USCN, the company is fundamentally strong. They are building something that is very strong. I'm talking in terms of fundamentals. Even in technicals, I was expecting that it should have, we should have been seeing this zone clean up this fair gap value imbalance or fair value gap around the 141, 147. We should have filled that zone. But for USCN has held its own and still trading maybe sub on 185, but has not lost like 10 naira or more than 10 naira in the order book. But we don't use order book price, we use what the NGX. So it closed flat for 2 consecutive weeks. It has closed flat for about 185. The moment when we start seeing UACN, and again, if you look at Unilever too, Unilever is when the virus has spread across, and just we start seeing again MTN going back again, doing -10 on the average day, Arade, Boa Cement. So the virus will spread again to USCM because a lot of people will be scared. If this one is doing -10, let me quickly keep my profit. Let me just take my profit and make good money from this company. Let me just stay on the side of caution and take my profit. And you start seeing that the USCN or Unilever starts to drop or tank. For Unilever too, we're about to fill this smaller gap zone that was created between 138 to 122%, 122 naira per share. About to, and that's also been it also consolidated for this week around the 126 naira zone. Also, we're expecting that this should be trading around the 100 naira psychological level to 109, which would be a very good point for me. If I'm buying this, I'll be looking at topping up. Yeah, since I already have it, topping up around this zone. Topping around this zone means that Unilever is cheap, and Unilever now is no longer it's not pricey as when it was trading around the 172 naira per share. This is a 200 naira stock, if as the case may be. But when we start seeing this movement is when the big boys start, again pulling that crazy offers. Now we'll start seeing USCN, start seeing Unilever, the virus, the bad, the bad vibes spread to these companies. Not that they are bad, just that people just want to take their profit and stay on the side of they want to be cautious, and they don't want to um lose money on the table, and keep the profit. And that's when you now start seeing them USCN drop. Just normal, a normal correction for these companies. But again, they've been very strong during this period. And I said it on the WhatsApp that companies that are very strong, and if the market recovers today, these companies will mint 10% or 9.9 or 9.5 or anything every day, or maybe every 2 days, they'll be minting such percentage, because they've all held their own, and they'll be running riots to those zones, because they've not lost too much, and that's what investors, um you know traders will love to trade when market recovers instantly. Okay.
All right, so I see Charles has joined us. I
I mean,
myself
see,
at this point in time, I mean, who knows? Just to put it out, maybe I'll mention it in case I forget it. Now that we seem to get to the hang of this StreamYard, maybe this year's 24 hours space will probably be on YouTube and some other places as well. I think it's much easier than joining on Twitter. So I see Charles here. Charles, what are your thoughts on last week's trading session, and how do you view the market as a whole now?
Yeah, thank you very much, and sorry for not joining at the beginning of the stream. Time difference. Um, well, a lot of things happened in the market last week, which created a lot of panic, and people were coming with all manners of reasons for why the market was behaving the way it was behaving. Uh, Yes, we have to acknowledge that prior to the month of June, the market had really run, and we are expecting some pullbacks. But the manner of the pullback was kind of uh, too too sudden, and that created panic in the market itself. Um, and this begs the question as to why it's very important to get all stakeholders together uh, and sit down and think about a policy or policies critically before jumping out and telling the world that this is what is going to happen, this is what is going to happen. Uh, the FTIC Russell had already said we are going to get into the frontier market from the unclassified long ago. So for them to have a rethink, they probably saw something, a new policy which didn't sit well with them, and we have this uh, way of doubling down on bad when we make bad decisions. Instead of us to sit down and reconsider, we double down on it, and the next thing we start saying is it's our market. If they don't like the market, they should get out and stuff like that. But what we noticed in the market is no fresh monies have been coming into the market. So we had a situation where these foreign institutional investors were just watching to see how this will play out, and instead of deploying new capital, they were just rotating from stock to stock to stock. And again, we talked about liquidity being sucked out of the market by series of fundraising going on, in the market. And we talk about policies, policies, policies. And when we talk about policies, people just think it's for the fun of it. We come every time and we try to state the importance of having a calendar. It's good to have a calendar to do all these things. And these calendars should be hard calendars, not just as the spirit directs. The day you wake up, you say, no, let's just go and raise money today. Or, you know what, let's wait till December. These things should be inbuilt into the calendar. And that way, you do it in such a way that it brings synergy. It brings positivity into the market rather than just haphazardly doing stuff and not putting into consideration the effect it could have on other things. When we talk about liquidity being sucked out of the market, the liquidity has been sucked out to just one man, to Dangote. Okay? If the pension funds are not visiting Dangote today, the Minister of Investment is visiting Dangote today. If Dangote Fertilizer Company is not raising money today, Dangote Sugar is raising money today, or they are doing private placements for Dangote. Everything is just centered around one man. As much as we applaud all he has done, as much as we wished we had a lot more Dangotes in the system, I've posited that at his stage in life, he should be impacting the life of every Nigerian. He should be the first name of every Nigerian's thinking of how much he has impacted their life, of how much he has transformed life for them, because the government cannot do it for us. Okay, and to be fair, the government does everything, to enable him do whatever he wants to do, and I think the only way he can translate that to gratitude is making sure that Nigerians, benefit from whatever he's doing, right? Um, and that's what I think he should be aiming at, rather than this, industrialization without result, industrialization that does not trickle down to the man at the bottom of the ecosystem. So all those policies all culminated in what we saw in the market, that or we've been seeing in the market in the past couple of weeks. But again, like we would always say here, investing is a long-term thing, Uh, I think what has happened is, because of the way the market has run, a lot more people became interested in the market. And again, for astute policymakers, that's where they should come into the market and try and cash in on the momentum. But our policies in encouraging people to come into the market is kind of weak. I'm saying all this because at the end of the day, if we leave the narratives open to everybody's interpretation, then we will never really have the kind of market that we desire. We are not going to allow people who do not know anything about financial market to come and be telling us this is what is happening, when the main players themselves are just sitting down there. They never say anything. And when they come out to say something, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, oh, we want to thank the government for all that they have done. If not for the government, this would have been this would have been that. That is absolute rubbish. As a matter of fact, the market should be sacrosanct. Yes, the government should create an enabling environment for the market to run. However, what you do what you do should be a proper gauge as to how well the economy is performing. But you have a situation where we claim the headlines, oh, Nigeria is now T+1. We can settle, uh, uh, we can do settlements in a day. You know, we are the first country, the first exchange in the world that is doing settlement in equities in a day. How does that affect the general market? And I'll give you an analogy. 3 years ago or 2 years ago, the University of Calgary produced 42 masters graduate in law. All of them were Nigerians. The 42 law graduates, master's degree in University of Calgary, they were all Nigerians. And we were waxing lyrical. Oh, Nigeria has done it again. We've produced all the master's degree holders in University of Calgary. And then I asked a simple question: how does this impact the life of the average Nigeria in Calgary? I'm not even talking of Canada in general. In Calgary, how many Nigerians have lawyers? How have they impacted the life of Nigerians whose rights are being trampled upon every day? So these are the issues. So you come out T+1. Oh, we are the first. What does that do for your economy? How does it affect the market? What were you thinking? T+2 was less than uh, 4 months ago or 6 months ago. All of a sudden, it's T+1. So the question is, what are you driving at? You want to claim the headlines, stupid headlines that do not add to the bottom line, headlines that do not materially change anything. And you know, a lot of people have been asking, oh, um, it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the retail investor and all that. Yeah, it's a good thing for the local retail investor. But for the international investor, if you are sending like 1,000, 2,000 to like less than to about 10,000, it's okay. But we are sending millions of dollars to do transaction. The settlement process is more than a day. It takes time. And what that means is you have to always pre-inform your broker that they should make this um, uh, uh, quantity of quantity of these equities available to you for purchase in the next 2 days, because you know they don't like their money lying fallow. They want to use their money immediately. The international investors. And so in the process of settling that takes like a day. And based on the fact that you now want settlement to be done uh, uh, 1 day after, what that means is you must always have that money available before you can make those purchases. And what that means is you now have to pre-inform your broker about your intending purchase. And you know what it is. Once you tell your broker that they should make like 3 million, 4 million, 20 million units of MTN available for purchase to you, it's definitely going to go out into the market. And you know what will happen? The price will start tanking. The price will start to tank. And because they will leak the information. You know, our market is rife with insiders trading. And this is where you would have thought that after the FTSE Russell decided they were going to come into Nigeria, for any policy that is being made, because the end goal here, for me, FTSE is even a small one. I've been saying it. People do not even understand that since the Morgan Stanley Composite Index left Nigeria, our market has never really gone up to where it should be. It's when those people come in that that we would really see the true violation of some of these under grossly undervalued uh, companies we have in Nigeria. Now the FTSE was supposed to be like a test run, and midway into implementation, you are creating doubts in their mind. And the market does not like doubts. The market does not like uncertainties. And what you now saw is these guys now said, okay, these guys, we do not understand what you are doing. Even the most advanced markets in the world, they know why they put settlement at T plus two. The average settlements in even the most advanced markets in the world is T plus two. You know, if you ask me, T plus one kind of encourages. Uh, uh, Anyways, let me not go into that. That's my personal opinion. We'll find out later. I discuss this within my inner circle. So what now happened is, like you're creating doubts in the minds of these guys, and they're like watching, trying to see how they can manage the situation. So the letter they sent a clarification letter to say it's not like they are withdrawing the frontier status, they are just reconsidering certain things. And you would expect that there were a lot of movements last week, uh, talks here and there to make sure that at the end of the day it goes smoothly. Uh, but the reaction of uh, investors to the market was too drastic, if you ask me. And what he did basically, or what he's still doing, and I want Senko to tell us based on what he's seeing on the charts, whether we are still going to gap down or not. It just created opportunities for very solid companies. Uh, when we come here to discuss the market, when we come here to discuss companies, there are companies we discuss way, way ahead of time. I have seen a lot of wailing and lamentations from people about their investment and all that. But again, we will always want to take you back to the timelines when we started discussing some of these equities. There are some equities we don't even discuss again because for the time we started discussing those equities, if you got in there, even with what is happening in the market, and even if the market still falls 100% today, you will be in profit. So we are always trying our best to be ahead of the market, because what we see, the opportunities we see, sometimes it will take some certain things to happen before it becomes obvious to everybody. So we always come, we see these opportunities, we start talking about them, and we expect that uh, for discerning investors, what you need to do is go look at those things those equities we are talking about, and start doing your own research. You know, um, I we just detest a situation where we see a lot of ingratitude. Nobody pays us to do any of this stuff that we do here. You understand? We could make what we do paid, but it defeats the purpose, right? It defeats the purpose of uh, trying to empower Nigerians financially. Uh, and we are in that kind of a system right now where uh, foolery, where people who come and make things that do not contribute to the life of the average Nigerian are those who are, being heard and popularized. But our motivation is, this is our own contribution, because it's not just enough to be complaining The country is bad. The country is this. The country is that. I know a lot of people keep asking, what's the motivation for these people? Our motivation is a better life for Nigerians. And I know a lot of people keep saying, oh, these guys, they must be making money. Oh, like they make money from YouTube. We don't make any money from YouTube. We don't make any money from Twitter. Go and check our status on Twitter. We are not even there yet where we are monetized or anything. But like, again, that's not the purpose. Okay, we come here every week grinding. Even before we come here, every day it's a meeting. Every day we are seeing development, uh, and we try to point people to those directions. I know people are talking, oh, insurance, the insurance have not performed well and all that, but I always ask questions. I always need to ask investors questions. Go and check people who are in these sectors. Go and check the major shareholders of these insurance companies. You always find these extremely rich people all trying to get into insurance companies. And you ask yourself, why are they getting into insurance companies? From time to time, there are new appointments. You see people being appointed into the boards of insurance companies. And if you cannot connect the dot that this is something that you're not seeing, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to help you, because in your mind, you want to buy something today for 1 naira and make 100 million naira tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. It does not. So it's when you see this critical appointment, you see changes taking place in a company, you're wondering, why is this happening? Why is this person coming? How can somebody who is executive uh, director of a bank coming to take a position in an insurance company? Why is Aradel interested in? Why is Aradel the major shareholder in Consolidated Hallmark? Why is some some of the biggest best brains in banking taking position in insurance companies? Why is uh, 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 Linkashaw one of the biggest uh, shareholders in Stanbic Pension, the biggest pension company in the district? And go and check. If you just take time, because like some people, they are too fixated in PE, in EPS and rubbish. And when you ask them what their investing philosophy is, they just go and chat GPT you what their investing philosophy is without actually saying anything. Or you go, you have certain people you follow, you just go and copy them verbatim and all that. These same people, we talk to them, we interact with them, we have them on speed dial, to clarify certain things and all that. Okay, everybody, they've got their source of information, and it's not, there are some sources that are kind of supposed to be non-disclosure because they're like top secret and all that. Because if you now start disclosing that, then it will constitute the insiders trading and stuff like that, you know. So we want a situation where people can make up their own mind on what they want to do with their money, and then sometimes too, even when we talk, we want to be challenged. I'm just looking at that thing you said now. I was just checking the report and I saw this and I saw that. Don't you think this? That's how we want our community members to be thinking. You have to be ahead of the game. When it becomes obvious that this is the game, then the money has already been made. And that is why, like I said, there's all this. We don't talk about UAC again. We don't talk about NACO, because the time we talked about UAC when it was at 15 naira, if you bought at 15 naira, that's like 10 times multiple right now. Why would you be complaining that your portfolio has gone down? When we started talking about NACO, why will you be complaining that your portfolio has gone down? When we started talking about Arade, why will you be complaining? Even the insurance company, by the time we were talking about them prior to when the bill was even signed. But like people make it look like we are in a competition to see who is right or is wrong. We don't have that time. I don't even I don't even give attention to things like that, because like the saying goes, even a broken clock is right twice in a day, So eventually, it will come to that point where you'll be right or we will be right. But there's a methodology to the way we come out and talk to people about their investment. So basically, the reaction last week was too drastic, and what has happened is that it's created opportunities. People, when NACO almost ran over 250, people were complaining, oh, let it come to 120, let it come to that. It has come to that now. What are you going to do? You'll be waiting for it to fall below 100. And when you do that, what it tells me is you don't know how to do valuation. Okay? Once you have a convenient safety of margin or margin of safety in your investment, go for it. You can even go for it and it will still go down further. But when the market decides to do its thing, you are going to be eating well. So I see a lot of equities that are mispriced right now, and more so because of the panic that has happened. And that is why, and that is why, and where we should be careful, because I hear a lot of people, oh, it's the retail market that is doing. Yes, the retail market has really improved. You have more retail participation than uh, uh, institutional participation. But by the time you put into consideration the value, okay, that one institutional investor could be putting like 20 times what all the retail investors are putting in the market. And there's the money that moves the market. Why you haven't seen any movement of late in the market is because no new institutional money has been coming into the market. The money is just parked sideways, waiting for direction, waiting to see how this new policy pans out or plays out. So it created a lot of new opportunities in the market. Zenith is very cheap right now. GTB is very cheap. NACO is very cheap. Aradel is very cheap, you know. But again, what what can we offer to that new investor? I know some people are so used to, oh, go and buy quality stock, go and buy stock that have uh, good earnings, that have track record and all that. All those companies that got there started from somewhere. If a company has been in existence for 20 years and that company is still existing and nothing has happened to it, and you are seeing progress, you are seeing things happening, then you have to pay attention. Because I always ask, okay, if I ask you to go and buy Seplat, to go and buy Arade, to go and buy GTB, how many MTN, how many can you realistically buy? You think if you have uh, 1,000 MTN stock, it will change your life? And so we see opportunity makers in the market. We are looking at insurance company. Yes, insurance company for a very long time have not lived up to expectations. Not because they are not making money, because you should be asking yourself, okay, if these insurance companies are not making money, how come they are still in existence? Even some companies in the NGX, the only time you see them make a move is when the company is kind of threatened. Maybe somebody is threatening to start dragging ownership of the company with the present owner. It starts moving. And that's why we say when you see that the stock it becomes perpetually undervalued, you know there's a problem. There's an underlying problem with that stock. I don't want to mention names, but we all know that there are certain stocks now that will be owned by certain owners that we praise in that ecosystem, in that NGX. And I won't touch it. No matter how good they are, I will not touch it. Because they perpetually keep it undervalued. They make it look like they are not making money. We knew when Transcorp for over a decade, for over 10 years, was just trading at the nominal value of 50 kobo with all the assets that they had. And we saw it. A lot of us packed Transcorp at 50 kobo because if you go and look at the annual report and see all the assets that they had Transcorp Hotel, they had Transcorp Power, they had power gas plants, power stations, and all that stuff. And yet it was trading at 50 kobo. And nothing was happening. Nothing. It was just there, follow. And then all of a sudden, somebody decided to say, okay, I want to take a stake in this company. And that's when it moved. Even with the other entities, for a very long time, like you are looking at Zenith and you are looking at GTB, you are wondering why Zenith and GTB should be ahead of certain banks in the system. But these guys have safeguarded themselves. They've bought more shares. They've fortified their position. They have people everywhere to make sure that they are protected and all that stuff. So when a stock is perpetually undervalued, there's a problem. It's not like they're not making money. These guys are cleaning out. Because at the end of every, if you go and check their financial report, all you will see is extraordinary items. Extraordinary items. So we created, or an opportunity was created, and it's not to say if you buy those opportunities now in a week or two or three or in a month or in 6 months, those things will start to crystallize out. No, it will still take some time. Thank God the quarter is ended. Most of the companies have brought out notice of how of their close period and publication of their second quarter result. Some of them will be paying dividends. But like I summarized in our last space, I don't think we've seen the end of this yet. I just think this is what's going to be happening in the market. It's going to be sideways for a very long time. Like Senko said, MTM might come out and with a blowout result. They will really, their result is going to be superb. Seplat is going to come out with a blowout result. Aradel is going to come out with a blowout result. UAC is going to come out with a blowout result. But the question is, for those who are not paying dividend, people will have to wait till year end to see the impact of that. So if the result comes out and people start rushing to buy these equities, FTSE comes in, helps to stabilize or create a support for where people are buying these equities. Then, after some time, corrections will start coming in again because there's only so much you can chase. You want to be part of it. You don't want to be left out. But you forget you have, after half year, you have September, October, November, December, January, February, March before they start releasing their year-end result. And between those period, you've got the election in between. So if anybody is thinking we are going to see the mad run that we saw in the last 2 years, person, you have to temper your expectation. It's not going to be like that. And I'm being very realistic, programming your mind now. But that's not to say you should leave the market. Because if you leave the market, you will never know when those opportunities are created. You really have to be smart. Your approach to the market right now has to be very, very smart. We are putting all the roadblocks that can possibly be in place. Our biggest fear right now is the election. Because from all indication, it doesn't look like it's going to be a smooth election. And before people jump to the conclusion that I'm being political here, if you don't put that into your consideration, you can do whatever you want to do. But don't cry when you lose your money. So that's definitely going to have a good to play out in people's mind. And the way you navigate that will determine how well you will do in the market. So from this period we are in now, you need to be very, very ready. You need to ask yourself, what am I looking at? What do I want to buy? What is going to change? And policies now, everything in terms of policies, government policies that will enable investment will be put on the back burner. Everything the government is interested in right now is election. So this is no time to be saying, the government, no, all the things the government have already promised, all the things the government have already made in terms of policy to encourage investment in the market, in various sectors of our lives, it's already there. Go and look at those blueprints and then just be watching and pray for Nigeria to have a peaceful election. That's the most important thing right now. If we have a peaceful election, then you will see that market. And I'm not the only one thinking like this. The institutional investors are thinking too. I know people saw some upliftment in the ASI on Friday, but remove what Airtel did and probably MTN. People are still in panic mode. I know next week people might FOMO, my FOMO into the market thinking, oh, it's about to get lit. And again, don't fall. Don't fall for the bait of these banks. Who is telling you now that they they this is a closed period and they are considering dividend? Because these are the same banks. During their call, we were asking them, what is your position with forbearance? Are you going to be able to pay dividend? They could not give you a definitive answer. Now that is half year, they are coming out with statement that they are meeting, there'll be a closed meeting to discuss the half year result and dividend. If you fall for that, then you are probably the fool, because that's not the first time they are doing it. That's not the second time. We were asking them direct question. What is your position with forbearance? Will you be able to pay dividend half year? And they would turn to politicians. They start dodging the question. So if you fall for that gimmick, you only have yourself to blame. This would have been insurance time. This would have been time for insurance to shine. This would have been time for us to start hearing about mergers. This would have been time for us to start hearing about companies, some solid insurance companies that are not listed on the NGX, who are now coming into the NGX. And it will still happen. So the insurance company for a very long time have had very lax regulation. So with the new capital requirement, it's going to be different. It's going to be bigger. And I've always said we should take our mind back to banks prior to their consolidation that was initiated by then CBN Governor Charles Soludo, who's now the governor of Anambra State. Go and check the state of our banks that time and post consolidation. There are going to be some big winners that will join some already established insurance companies. So people can laugh at insurance company for all they want, but insurance is the next big money spinner. It's the next big money minter for Nigerians if you pay close attention. You are not in business for over 50 years for the fun of it. You are making money. You are not making full disclosures. You're making it look like you're not making money. You give forecast. Everything is going well. Then that fourth quarter, you now say claims is what has happened. That's why you are not able to pay dividend or why. No, it's going to change now. NICOM needs to sit up as a regulatory body. They need to sit up because we have Regency Insurance right now doing a right issue. Meanwhile, we have not seen their year-end result for 2025. So the only reason people are buying right now is for those who bought at the beginning of the week from the floor, you would have gotten a discount on the right price. But I know like next week, they'll probably push that price above the right price just to make it attractive to people to buy. Because again, Regency Insurance was like one of those companies who made it look like they already had the money. And how much are they raising anyways? Just less than $4 billion, 4 billion naira. That's what they are raising for the right issue, which one person can just bring up and they have all that money. Which brings us to the point to why our companies need to do better. You can see how everybody is running to Dangote to tell Dangote, take my money. It should be the same case with a lot of these other companies if you tell your story properly. Don't let us see you only when you want to raise money. Let us see your presence. Let us see what you are doing. Tell us the activities of your company. Have a monthly update of what is happening in your company. Let your company be in everybody's eyes. And then by the time you come, everybody is happy to want to invest in your company. You can imagine how a company in Ghana, Casaprenco, did their IPO, and we were aware of it. One of their major products is a big seller in Nigeria. But they don't do anything. PRO zero, uh, publicity zero, corporate social responsibility zero. We don't feel your impact in anything that you do. So when you want to raise 3 billion, it's a problem. 3 billion that one human being can give to you. But I know no matter what you want to say about Regency, they already have the money. They already have the money. They didn't expect the market to turn so badly that their stock price will fall below the right issue price. So pay attention. We keep saying it. Those who want to laugh can laugh all they want. But it's not going to stop us. We know what we signed up to do when we started this whole journey. We will continue to encourage people. You need financial independence. We live in a country where there's no uh, social insurance for 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 the citizens, where there's no welfare. And that's why you see people roaming the streets. They don't know where their next meal is going to come from. People who roam the street in advanced country do it on their own violation because they give them money to take care of everything. But when they give you money and all you are thinking about is how to go and get your drugs and your brain becomes messed up, the street becomes your home. But it's not like they are not catered for. These people, free medical care, they have it. They don't pay anything for medication. If they are sick, they see the doctor. They get medications for free and all that stuff. They give them money for accommodation and all that. Give them money for food. If you manage it well, you should be okay. The same stuff they provide for refugees. That's why they all come here claiming all kind of status so as to be able to get funding. We have some group of countries that are notorious for claiming refugee status. They will come here. They have like 4 wives. They have like 11 children. All of them, all of them are giving a minimum of $1,500 per month. So if they give you $1,500 times 20 total number of your family, you know how much that is. If you're a smart person, you can actually do something meaningful with that money. And before you know, you are doing well for yourself. And that's why a lot of people refuse to work in this part of the world. But in Nigeria, if you don't have a job, you don't have housing, you don't have food, you will die. Nobody will even, you will die and be rotting in the street. And people will be passing your corpse. And these are the things that motivate us. Since we don't have a responsible government that provides welfare for a citizen, you need to help yourself. And when you see people grinding, going out of their comfort zone, trying to provide this, and you turn it into uh, banter. If you want to banter, go and watch Ifekata and Pella. This is serious business here. As much as possible, what you need is positive energy within the community. Make sure that if you have a contrary opinion to what anybody is saying, put it respectfully. Don't come. If you don't like the community, by all means, go. You can go start your community. But when people come, put in the work, grind, trying to find out information, come out, give it to you for free, and all you do is you are trying to prove. It's very, very discouraging. But you cannot discourage us because those who appreciate what they get show those appreciation. It's not everything in my DM that you will see. I need you guys to come out and tell us, okay, based on this is what I saw, this is what I saw. Let's do this. That's what I want from the community. Let's come together, work together. I'm not saying if you think what is being said is not right, you cannot correct it. But don't make the group degenerate into something that it is not. It's not an academic class. We don't care whether you have a first class or you are a dropout. Point us to directions where people can gain financial independence for themselves. That's what we're after. Because at the end of the day, how much money can you really spend? When you die, which death is inevitable, anybody can die. We can be talking now, next day, oh, the person is dead, that's it. How much money are you going to take away? What would you be remembered for? That you did an IPO that was 35 cents that a poor man could not afford? Is that what you want to be remembered for? All your trucks are always killing people on the road, even when you are doing so much? You have to try and change that narrative. Even in your own little way, even the fact that nobody knows you, you need to start contributing your quota. You need to start contributing to good governance in this country. Because if you fold your hand and you leave it to the hands of the politician, anything you see, you take it like that. These guys don't care. You don't mean anything to them. You don't. They're all about lining their pockets. And then when I see people line up defending these people, I just wonder, do you even have a brain? These people don't even know whether you exist. Their kids are not here. When it's election time, prior to the election, they travel. They leave the country, including our president, the most important day of his life when the court was going to decide his election stuff. He left the country. Anytime there's a major crisis, he's out of the country. There has not been a major crisis where the president has addressed the nation. None. Kids have been missing for God knows how long. Prior to this administration, he was very vociferous. He would be the one who would come out and say, this guy is incompetent, should resign and all that. What things have happened in your administration? I'm not even saying you should solve the problems, but come out and say something. Instead, what we hear is, oh, when I was opposition, they made life difficult for me. I'm going to make life very difficult for them. That's not a good message for peaceful election. Look at the scandal that is going on now of how an agency was created. And all we see is just failure of government in every aspect. No matter how, it's in this government we started hearing, oh, challenge your governors. My friend, you are the commander in chief. At the end of the day, the buck stops at your table. But it's not challenge your governors. You're always looking, there's always an excuse. Somebody must always bring an excuse as to why something is not happening. And that is why we do what we do. We want people to be less reliant on government. We want people to be self-reliant, look at the situation, try and make money from what is going on. Because you don't have anything. The taxes you pay, you just wonder why you pay the taxes. Because it's not there for you. The tax is not there for you. At the times of need, when you are homeless and all that, nobody will remember you. So that's why we come here, look at the market, and try and see what we can do for ourselves. So for the market, a lot of opportunities have been created. A lot more are being created. You need to be patient. The stock market is patience. I always ask people, let's check notes in 5 to 10 years. Let God keep us alive till that time. And let's check notes in 5 to 10 years. And let us see if you have made the right decision with some of the things we'll be telling you. You can laugh at recommendations we make for all you want, but eventually, when you see what we saw like 4 years back, you probably go back and be playing all the recordings of all the spaces and engagement we'll be doing, and you will see where we were coming from. And I'm not saying we cannot be wrong. Nobody's always right. We don't boast. We don't say we did this. No, we don't. That's not our. If you're an astute investor and you've read your books, you will find out that there are a lot of uh, fund managers. They kill it in 1 year and they become larger than life. And then the market will humble them. Who will say, go and buy tantalizer, and tantalizer becomes a joke to you. Keep laughing. And I don't actually blame anybody. Like I said, a lot of time it's just companies who do not actually come out to tell us the story. They are coming out with a game show. They have an entertainment company that is that 20% is almost like the market cap of the the company itself, and they have fisheries. So their major this thing was a quick service restaurant. A quick service restaurant has transitioned and restructured into a fishery company, into an entertainment company, and people do not see anything. They are coming out with a game show that will give Baba Ijebu a run for its money. But people are looking at balance sheet. People are looking at the stock price today. They are not looking at the stock price in 5 years. They are not looking at the stock price in 10 years. They are not looking at the men behind the restructuring of this company. We do break this down for you, it becomes a joke to certain people. So we will keep doing what we are doing as per what is coming this week. Again, the market showed a sign of recovery on Friday, but like I said, I want to see what if we are gapping down on the ASI. But obviously, the way the market is now, we have baskets of opportunities. It's up to you. It's up to you to take advantage of them. Every day, we try and give you deals, big deals that are happening in the market. Pay attention. Always pay attention to those things. We don't post them for the fun of it. We can go to the market and give you your own market report. Oh, this one gained this gained it. But all I'm interested is where's the money flowing into. And that's why as a team, every day we give you deals of the day. If you think we just post deals of the day because of for the fun of it, then you've got to think again. It tells you where money is going into. Sometimes those deals are just one deal. So when you see somebody, one deal of a company that nobody is talking about, somebody is pumping over 100 million, 200 million into it, 1 billion into it, then you ask yourself, what's happening? So let's watch the market. For those, if you did not get out of the market like in May, this is no time to start panicking to get out of the market. And if you noticed, it looks like most of the most fundamental stocks were the most hit during this period. And that is part of the liquidity crunch that you fall into. So let's say by chance you were lucky to get into the Dangote refinery and you needed to pay money. You needed urgent money to pay for your allocations of shares. The only way you could get those money is by selling your liquid fundamental stocks like your Zenith, your GTB, your Aradel, not Seplat, because Seplat is not liquid. If it was liquid, people, you would have seen a massive drawdown in the price too. Your NACO, these are all liquid shares that people could sell easily and then get the money to pay for their whatever. And that's why you saw that most of the fundamental stocks were the most beaten. If you are looking for liquidity and you think it's beggar paint you are going to get your liquidity from, you have to think again. If you think it's better glass you are going to get your liquidity from, you have to think again. So what did you notice? For those stocks, like nothing happened to them. Even the Seplat, it's like nothing happened to it because it's not liquid. If it was liquid, a lot of people will sell down. And then you start panicking, not knowing people are just defaulting to where they can get their urgent 2K and pay for their allocation. So we preach patience, we preach rationality, and we preach if you have done your homework, like I said, maybe Senko should do a class on calculating the margin of safety. Once you have good margin of safety, after doing all your metrics and you have good margin of safety when entering a stock, buy it. Don't worry about it. And forget checking. Like all this one, I've not looked at my portfolio. I don't know the last time I looked at my portfolio. You know, sometimes investing becomes like fun. It's not really the money that is driving you now. Your ability to stay unemotionally invested in the market, that's the biggest strength. Your ability to know, you know what, don't do anything. Your ability to know, just stay with cash. It's very difficult. I'm telling you, a lot of people, if they had money right now, they would have deployed that money long ago. And then it keeps dipping and dipping and dipping and dipping. And they say, I wish I waited a little bit longer. But you can't time the market. And that's why I said, once you're able to calculate your margin of safety when going into an equity, and you do that, don't worry about it. Let it fall, no problem. At the appropriate time, when the market forces align, you would reap. We saw with Ikeja Hotel a couple of things that are going on there now. Prior to that, we noticed a lot of volumes in Ikeja Hotel. If you're in the community, you will know. There are people who will come jokingly, they will drop a snippet. What is happening in Ikeja Hotel? This volume we get as a big to do. And then you see some appointment. You see some appointments. And then you will now start asking, okay, what is the rationale? What is behind this appointment? We discuss these things, we know, we find out, we ask questions, we try and get in touch. What's going on? And then we tell you, hold your Ikeja hotel if you have it. Then after like maybe 6 months, 7 months, Otedala wants to take a stake in Ikeja hotel. And then people will be say, oh, this, that, that. You will complain, whining, because you don't pay attention. You don't pay attention. You want to laugh. You think we are in the business of making people laugh. You think this is comedy. And I'm sure if some of us were in comedy, we'll do better. We'll be household names compared to those. But the question is, those comedians, how much do they affect your life? You go and laugh for 1 minute, you go back to your bed and your sorrows continue. We're trying to give you something, teach you something that you can bequeath to your children. I'm sure everyone who is a member of our community, they are teaching their kids now. Start investing. Those ones who are buying US stocks, if you have kids, rather than buy US stock, go and buy share certificate for your children. For like this good stock like Nvidia. It's not for you. Nvidia is gone past you. It's not time to buy Nvidia for yourself. Buy like 10 shares of Nvidia for your kids certificate. When they get to 18 years, give it to them. See how much that thing has done for them. I know you trying to chase Nvidia now. So we appeal for calm. We appeal for patience. We appeal for paying attention. Pay close attention. There are a lot of things happening. Follow the money. Follow the people. When you see an appointment, go and look at that appointment. Who is this person? Why? What is informing his decision to get into this company? If you know the amount of all the big boys in the market, all these banking big boys, oil and gas big boys that are into insurance companies, you will not play with insurance companies. And if you are lucky, even this name insurance for a very long time, for over a decade, name was trading at 50 kobo. 1 million shares of name would have been 500K. 10 million shares of name would have been 5 million. Just imagine you have 10 million shares of name right now at that price. So these opportunities are always there. But if you want that time, all them they will be regarded as useless companies or as these insurance companies or these insurance companies or these insurance companies. That's how one of those all these useless insurance companies you are seeing right now become the bedrock of insurance in this country. And then you ask yourself, where was I? How come I didn't look at it? Because you wanted to laugh at people. Because you wanted a company that was already solid for you to invest in before you invested. And like I always tell them, like I always say, for these solid companies, you think we don't have them? You want me to come and start telling you to go and buy Seplat at 11,000 naira for something that I didn't buy, I bought for less. Anyway, let's not go there. You think we don't know? We don't know. I can tell you, go and buy the index, buy GTB, buy NTN, buy Zenith, buy Access Bank, buy UBA, buy EcoBank, buy NACO, buy UHC, buy Presco, buy Okomo. You think we don't know those are good stuff? Is that smart thinking? Is that how we want to empower people to become self-made? How many Presco can you buy? How many Okomo can you buy? You think 1,000 Okomo will change your life? But 1 million Regal Insurance, 1 million Link Assure, 1 million Sovereign, 1 million Nemeth Pharmaceuticals. These are things you could just buy now. Look, do you know up till, do you know uh, during COVID or after COVID, this tip everybody is pursuing now was selling for 33 kobo? 33 kobo. That time, these new companies don't know them. Wait to know them. I think now everybody is scrambling to buy tip. By the time tip will get to 500, then people will still buy tip at 500. People will buy tip at 500. Did you not see the flooding in Lagos? It's just a matter of time. The reason why I come here most times and I ask people, okay, I'm looking at Lagos now. What can where will Lagos be in 10 years? Are we going to continue? Are we continually going to be seeing this flooding in another 10 to 15 years? No. Somebody is going to come up and provide solutions. Somebody is going to, and the person, the company that will be providing those solutions are the next wave of companies you should be investing in. The MTN will still be there and all that. They will continue to go up and all that. But you should be looking for companies who can provide solutions that people use in everyday life. And when we see those opportunities, we try and bring it to the fore. All of a sudden, everybody is talking about mineral resources now. How the government wants to do this, how the government wants to do that. How are you positioned for that? I asked a simple question. Everybody has been talking about AI. AI. All kinds of AI bubbles be formed left, right, center. You ask yourself, has Nigeria benefited from the AI boom? No. And I know when I talk AI, people's mind will go to, okay, which company can possibly benefit? Maybe Champs, maybe MTN, maybe CWG, maybe Intransact and all that stuff. But what do you need for AI to work? Chips. Who produces most chips in the world? China and Africa. Has Africa benefited from chip production? The answer is no. Are we going to benefit from those chip production? We're already benefiting, except that it's being reported as informal. It's not getting to you. Have you ever asked the question why Nigeria never goes broke? Because not all the sources of revenue we make in this country is disclosed. Now, the picture is becoming clearer. All of a sudden, oh, there's a lithium company in Nasarawa. Discover lithium and some rare earth metals in Kaduna. But every day will be subtly be pointing you to direction. Something is happening in this space. I'm telling you, some of these things we are saying now, let God keep us alive. 10 years, you go and listen to these spaces again. You say these guys they saw tomorrow. And we didn't even see tomorrow. It's just common. This information, they are everywhere. They're everywhere. Which I've just decided. If you know, like when we finish from here now, if we talk every day. We are in different parts of the world, but we talk every day. Immediately we see something, we start thinking, okay, how do we invest in this? How do we invest in this? How do we navigate this? We looked at Arade and we're just thinking, oh, how do we invest? How do we invest in Arade? For some of us who bought Arade at 400, 500, buying it at over 1,000, they pepper my body. So how do we invest in it? Always thinking about strategies. And that's how I want us to be thinking. It's like I want people come. Greenticker, there's this thing I'm looking at. If we do this, do this, do this. I want people to don't. We are not lords. We are not God. We don't know anything. Bring your this thing. What are you looking at? And then we all look at it together. That's how you build a big community, a viral community that will impact people's life and leave them something. Even subscribing to our channel is a problem. I went to a platform the other day and I was just reading about Greenticker, and they were saying, no, those people, I don't open their, I don't want to patronize them. Those guys are making money. If not, why will he be getting up every day and be doing 3 videos in a day? It's making money. And then they now go and bring earnings influencers make, like Very Dark Man, like Pella, and they start comparing it with what we do, and I just laugh. See, because of that one, no, nobody's going to use my money. Like, have you ever bothered to listen to the analysis on those videos? Like, who does that for you for free, religiously? So guys, we can do a lot better, man. We can do a lot better, you know. And if all we ask for is just a token of encouragement, that's all we're asking for. Subscribe to our channels, like, share these things, send it to your friends, to your loved ones, because these are the things that will change their lives. We've all advocated here why we should start teaching financial education to replace or to be part of the general studies curriculum. You know, in most universities, there's a course called General GS, where they'll be teaching you rubbish that Mongo Park discovered the River Niger. So let's be patient with the market. Let the market do its thing. Sometimes you watch. Everybody is watching now. But for those opportunities that have been created, please don't procrastinate. Again, Senko, I've probably given you a topic maybe for tomorrow. Go and teach people how to calculate margin of safety when they want to buy a stock. And once you buy within 50% margin of safety, you're okay. You're okay. And thank you, guys. And hope you got 1 or 2 things from what I've said here.
All right. Thank you, Charles. Am I loud and clear? There's some welding work around me. Hope people can. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So I'm going to try and answer uh, some of the questions. I'm in a good mood today. All I will tell people is Charles has given the main points, but I like to say that a lot of the things that people ask. I mean, I'm seeing some of the questions here. Someone's asking, which insurance companies are undervalued. I mean, um, I don't think I can say this humbly. I don't think there's anybody that does the pre-market coverage I do in this country. Nobody. The depth of pre-market coverage I do in this country, nobody does it. I don't think there are more than 4 or 5 of us. Out of the 4 or 5 of us, I don't think there's nobody that is doing pre-market at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. So please, take out the time, go and watch the critical videos. We are not dramatic people. If I wanted to be dramatic, I would say, 10 stocks that will blow in 2026. We don't do all that. This is serious business. We don't do that. If I was looking for views, anything, I can tell you 10 stocks that will blow in 2026. This stock will go up by 500%. No, when we call out numbers, we put numbers all together. We put numbers on facts. So we've more than covered the insurance space um, in the last 10, maybe 15 pre-market videos. So please go and watch them. I think the longest pre-market video we've had in the last 2 weeks is 23 minutes. And look at most of the gossip and entertainment content you see on Nigerian internet. They are longer than that, and people are watching them 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 views. So if we can do 20, 30 minutes to share content, I think it's worth watching. So the question on the insurance companies, and just before I go in, please, anything I say here, I like to create the indulgence of the house. Nobody should come and ask me. So I will explain on my explanation here. Outside of here, nobody should ask me anything. Why? Today is Saturday. I spent Monday to Saturday. In fact, after this event, I'm going back to record to cover the publishing houses. This was supposed to be an impromptu live. We just said, you know what, let's test this thing just so I can be familiar with it. So, um, if you are looking at insurance companies that are undervalued, I would divide the companies into two. You have, and for more context, I think maybe you can check any of the pre-market videos done this week. You have what I would call tier one insurance companies, companies with asset size of about 100 billion or more. I think you have about 6 or 8 of them. Then you have tier two insurance companies and then tier three insurance companies. So, of the tier one insurance companies, in my view, you have Custodian, you have NEM, you have Cornerstone, you have Conhol, you have Wapik. I think maybe we have a few other ones. These are companies with assets of 100 billion or more. Custodian, I know some people might say, well, Custodian is not a it's a holding company. Yes, very true. Custodian is a holding company, but the bulk of Custodian's earnings are from the insurance business. So till when the bulk of earnings come from other sectors, Custodian will continue to be analyzed in tandem with other insurance companies. Um, Custodian has about a 1.1 trillion asset base. Look at tier two banks. I mean, I don't know which tier two bank you compare it to. Maybe J's. I don't have a asset base of J's. So Custodian is still a long way to go to be compared with other holdcos in the country. But in any case, back to the gist of the matter. Uh, if if we say what's valued or undervalued, um, the you look at the likes of Cornhall, you look at the likes of Wapik. Wapik is grossly undervalued, and I'm sure some people are going to drag us. So these guys have come again, but it's very simple, and I challenge anybody that disagrees with me. Go and take the financial statement of Wapik. Go and take the financial statement of Coronation Group. Calculate the value of the Coronation Group. Calculate the value of Wapik. Put all those numbers together, and let's have a conversation after that. So now that an insurance company is undervalued does not mean that it's going to attain its true value overnight. So we are not magicians. Something can be undervalued and still there for the next 5 years. I mean, when you look at the banking space, right now, Zenith Bank is undervalued. Under definition of undervalued is very simple. It's trading below book value. So anything below book value is undervalued. Means Zenith Bank is undervalued. So the same thing for the insurance space. I think Consolidated Hallmark, I think Wapik. The issue with Wapik is Ig, who is the essential Ig who is called now Wapik. In my own opinion, Ig has a lot on his plate because you have to handle Wapik, you have to handle Access Bank. Um, there were some family squabbles. I don't know how the matter has gone. The matter has gone quiet. So in my view, I think Ike has a lot on his plate to handle. It's not easy. He essentially was pulled back from semi-retirement out of the blues following the death of Herbert. So Ike has a lot on his plate. But in my view, I think that in the next 3 to 5 years, I see a situation whereby Wapik, Coronation Group, and Access, I think all of them should be bundled together. Whether I would want to do that, I don't know. Whether the family issues, Big Way family versus Ike, has been settled, I don't know. Um, but whichever way it is, I think that's a stock to watch. UPDC is also another stock to watch. It's quite simple. If you calculate the value of UPDC, you look at where UPDC is trading at. UPDC is grossly undervalued. And more importantly, we only have one scenario right now. At some point in time, custodian will have to decide how he's going to effectively take over UPDC. Is it that custodian will give cash to UPDC shareholders and they buy up everybody, or is it that custodian will give shares? I think that custodian will do both at some point. When they will do it, I don't know. So nobody should say this guy said this. I believe I'm a fundamentalist primarily. So fundamentals tell me something is undervalued. I'm not interested in when it will happen. It's a matter of fact. Is it valid? Undervalued. If it's undervalued, take position. When it happens, you execute. There's literally almost no stock on the Nigerian stock exchange. Even when you look at likes of MTN, I've said this several times, and you can get the context of the video. Various, I think MTN is one of the few stocks that we've probably done 4 or 5 videos. MTN is a 1,000 naira stock, so MTN at this price point, MTN is undervalued. But the question is, I mean, how many people can afford 1 million MTN Nigeria shares? Less than 1%. Because that's 750 plus million naira. Why are you going to get that kind of money? Rather than buy spending 750 million that you don't have on MTN, you might say, okay, what can I buy with 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million? So, consolidated hallmark, I think, is undervalued. That's a 10 naira stock, and it's quite simple. Um, if you look at the earnings per share, strip away the FX gains. Even if you assume that consolidated hallmark, and you can refer to some of the pre-market videos this week. I don't know, I can't remember if I covered it yesterday's pre-market video, maybe not. I think so. I'm looking at my screenshot page. Even if you assume that consolidated hallmark should have an earnings per share of 1 naira, which is a bare bones assumption, that would mean that the stock is trading about 5.8 times earnings. If you take all the tier one insurance companies, there's no tier one insurance company that's trading at less than at that. In fact, the only tier one insurance companies that are trading at less than WTP ratio at the moment um, will probably be Wapik, Custodian, and Consolidated Hallmark. You have NEM trading at 10.4 times. So that even tells you that if you are going by P ratio, Custodian is cheap. In any case, in the next 5 6 years, I think Custodian is 100 to 150 naira stock. Again, it's quite simple. Go and look at the equity. Custodian has 251 billion in equity. If you assume that the equity grows by 20% every year, meaning in 5 years, that's 500 billion in equity. Divide the 500 billion by the US, you're looking at I don't know, maybe 17 naira as book value in 5 years' time. You take your 17 naira and do 1.2 times book value, you're looking at over 100 naira share. So these are the stocks. There's so many stocks that I would say undervalued. Um, Question was about insurance space. I think I've answered all the questions. There was a question about yes, this space is this live or this event, this stream is recorded. There was a question on can Q2 numbers move the market. I don't know if Q2 numbers can move the market. The honest truth is nobody can categorically say if this market will move or not. Because remember that the Dangote public offer is scheduled for sometime in Q3. That is Q3 is when we are in Q3 actually, July, August, September, right? So I suspect that between August to October, one of those months is when we are going to have that public offer. The public offer comes, Even if you open the public offer next week, it's going to drain money from the market. So really nobody, I think as Charles said, forget about whether the price will go up or whether the price will go down. It's a simple question. Whatever you are valuing, are you buying anything below value? If you are buying an undervalued asset consistently generating profit, then it doesn't matter, what's, I mean, this we are 6 months into the year, so market is up about 47 or 48%. So even if the market declines by 20%, it's not much you can do. And if the market stays where it is for the rest of the year, it's nothing you can do. So um I think those are just some of the stocks. So many of them, even when you look at tip, for all these videos or all these stocks I'm mentioning, we've probably done 2, 3 videos. So go to the company analysis playlist, go and check the pre-market, go and check the daily market summary. I tell people go and watch every critical video that you see, because honestly, I'm moved by the spirits. I can decide to analyze the company and a daily market summary video. I can decide to analyze the company in the middle of the market day. If I look at it and I find it interesting, analyze it. So even a tip, when Charles says tip is a 100 naira stock or whatever, go and check the video we did on tip. We broke down the numbers and we gave all the scenarios. People don't understand tip. As long as you have the oil and gas space doing quite well, tip is there. Tip is one of the handful of players that can do oil and gas waste disposal. So if you ask yourself, what are the prospects of the oil and gas industry in Nigeria? Um, they are looking bright. A lot of the deals have been signed. A lot of drilling may happen in the next couple of years. That's good business for TIP. TIP is not only based in Nigeria, TIP is based in Uganda. We know that the Dangote group is also looking at expanding, look at establishing a refinery in Uganda or Tanzania or somewhere in East Africa, wherever. That's business for TIP. So when we say some of these things, people need to look beyond this year. We are halfway done through the year, so there's no magic that can happen this year. Market that is up 47%, where do you want the market to rise to again? If you are lucky, maybe the market does another 20, 30%. That's fine, but if it doesn't do it, what else do you want? Next year, first half of the year is election and post-election. You can't predict the market. So what is more important is understand what you are buying, understand why you are buying it, and once you work out the numbers, you buy it and you leave it and you just let it be. So forget about the ups and downs every day in the market. I keep saying it. When you look at a company like Zenith Bank is trading below book value. That's one of the best run banks in this country. So even if Zenith Bank goes to 60 or 70 naira, I'm not bothered. It doesn't matter, because Zenith Bank is, at some point in time, is going to be trading at 120, 150. You look at FCMB. I think after this stream, I won't even discuss FCMB or even put it in the anyway. I've discussed FCMB. I said it before. At the next 2, 3 years, FCMB is a 15 to 20 naira stock. FCMB is trading at 9.9 naira or 9 point something naira. Why is that the case? Book value for FCMB is about 15 or 16. FCMB has cleaned most of its books. Most of the Nigerian banks, they've all cleaned their books. Now, whether the banks are efficient or not efficient, that's a different conversation. But there is no reason why any Nigerian bank, top tier Nigerian bank, well-run Nigerian bank, should be trading below book value. At some point in time, the market is going to reprice it. So rather than looking for, I mean, 9 naira, 10 naira, even if all the person has is I have 1 million naira, if I want to buy 100,000 FCMB shares, you buy 10k or 20k or whatever amount.
Yep. Yep.
If in 4 5 years FCMB is at 20 naira, you're good. The numbers are there. So when we say these things, people just think these guys are trade numbers. We give you facts. The facts are in the books. Go and read the content. Go and watch the videos. It's
and
all there.
and this is the most conservative member of this team, Onome. He's telling you FCMB with 20 naira. FCMB
It's a 20 naira stock.
it will run
FCMB is a 20 naira stock.
it will run even more than that. Like, I've never seen Onome in this kind of spirit before. He just gave out a lot of nuggets in
That's why I
that
say
his speech.
nobody should ask me anything. I won't discuss anything. Don't DM me. Don't message me. I've said anything you want to let go and watch the live again. The 20
Like
hours the book value of FCMB is 14.1. The stock is at 9 naira and 5 kobo. There is no reason on earth that FCMB should be trading below book value. Now you
yep.
can say FCMB has not lived to its potential. Fine, nobody will argue that. But there's no reason with the cleanup that FCMB has done MCM is trading at 14 9
and
naira when the book value is 14.
and
Does it make
in
sense?
addition to that, of all the banks, I think FCMB is the most open. The MD is always out there, telling investors what they are doing and all that stuff, and he's been very forthright. He's always come out. I just think um, anybody is expecting to see a very big run like Wema Bank did. If you are looking for your next
Oh,
Wema Bank, FCMB is your place to go. There was this question. Somebody was asking the question as to why there have been so many big sales in Aradel. You must understand that for a long time, Aradel was kind of in a closed period, right? Just because they couldn't release their result. A lot of people, a lot of insiders could not take advantage of the high price that Aradel went to. A lot of them bought at 400, 500, and then it got to like almost 2,000. And then, um, the delay in result put all of them under the closed period, and because of that they could not sell. So like when the result was released, that was the time they had the opportunity to take profit. And if you are talking about them selling, what about the buys? There have been a lot of buys too within this same period. So again, when you see insiders, family members of insiders buying the shares, it just points you to one direction. um buying Aradel is like buying five to six oil and gas companies. It's not going to. There are certain things you will not see right now, and this is what we have been saying. Oil and gas is a different kind of business. You can see how long it took them to consolidate their result, and if you noticed, their the audited result, it looked like the unaudited result was more conservative than the audited result, so to speak. So uh, people have to factor in. I said this before. Seplat Arade, they had like a 1 month downtime uh, in the first quarter, so you didn't really see the full potential of what their gas is doing for them right now. And again, even with what you are seeing in gas, it's just the tip of the iceberg, because a lot of investment has gone into that area, and you are going to see some results that will blow your mind. And for anybody who has are there right now. There are certain stocks I just say when you have them in your portfolio, just take them as your retirement stock. You understand? There's no point trying to be trading or playing with them. The only time you trade with them is if you have so much of it. You understand? But if you have like maybe a small position, anytime you see a dip in it, you try and add. Onome has given you almost everything, the major nuggets. He gave them in that short 5 minutes, this thing. And he's very conservative. If he tells you something is going for 10 naira, you can be sure that he can do another times two from the price he's telling you. So we have a way of checking ourselves. We have those who are extremely super bullish, we have those who are in between, and then we have the super conservative. Onome is super conservative when it comes to valuation of stocks. But believe you me, um, go back and play that 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 piece, and he said almost like everything, uh, telling you about. certain, like there are certain stocks in the market now because of their affiliation to other stocks. We use it as a means to getting some of the stocks. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. There are certain stocks in the market right now because of their affiliations to some other stocks. We use it as a means to getting to those stocks. Sometimes I can be very, very coded, but if you
As is
can,
speaking in parables, but
yes,
I think, well, blessed are those that join this space or this live stream. You guys will
yes,
enjoy.
yes,
I'm going to be a bit blunt. So you take you, and I've mentioned it, we discussed it just now. So if people are not paying attention, go back again. Go and take UPDC. UPCD is 51% owned by custodian, 49% or so, or 40 something percent owned by UAC. UAC wants to put, they are looking for money to put back into the food business. Custodian has two choices: buy out everybody with cash, or buy out everybody with shares, or buy with a mix of shares. So there is no other way to look at it. Even if, I mean, UPDC is less than 4 naira, custodian decides to buy out everybody at 5 naira, 6 naira, or 7 naira in 3 4 years. Where else will you see 4 million becoming 7 million in 2 3 years? I mean, so lastly, I've discussed UACN. I'm not going to be discussing UACN. I've done, and I can say it in all humility, I've done the best coverage of UACN in this Nigerian market. Nobody,
even the
nobody,
company,
no firm, no, even the company itself.
even the
I've done a
company
better
itself
job.
acknowledges
I've
that
done the
we've done.
best. I've done the best coverage. If you doubt me, go and take my UAC video. Look for any analyst reports in this country. None. If there is, pull it up. None. So go and watch all the UAC videos. I've done maybe 3 or 4 videos on UAC. I'm not discussing UAC anymore.
There
Go and
was
watch all the
there was
videos.
another question. Somebody was asking about WAPCO and
Fidelity. Okay, yes,
WAPCO.
the analysis on WAPCO. WAPCO is simple. WAPCO is, and again, I'll refer you, Zura. Go and watch any of the pre-market videos I did this week. I've covered WAPCO, covered all the cement companies. There are only three, so it's very easy to cover. Um, the only unclear area about if I would say that we have more clarity now with WAPCO, because a few days ago we saw the MD of WAPCO buying shares. The MD is Nigerian, so when you see the MD of the company buying shares, it tells you that they are not delisting anytime soon. Because if they were delisting, there's no way he's going to be buying shares of a company that will delist anytime soon. So if you remove that cloud about will they delist, will they not delist, WAPCO is good to go. WAPCO is cheap. The most expensive, they're all cheap. If you take all, and again, I refer you to the video for those that like to see numbers. Go and look at their earnings growth in the last 3 years for those companies. Go and look at go and calculate the peg ratio for those companies. It's all below one. WAPCO, Dangote Cement, Lafarge, they're all cheap. Just that WAPCO has the biggest upside. How you look, you should look at the countries to say, look, and again, I mentioned this yesterday. If you assume that these companies grow their earnings 15 20% for the next 4 5 years, take today's earnings per share, scale it up by 100% for 5 years, and do your multiple. You can see that these companies are still quite cheap. There's no substitute to cement in the world right now. There's no substitute to cement in Nigeria anytime soon, whether for building materials, whether for even roads. There's no substitute. So WAPCO is cheap. And there's a question on Fidelity and Access. Fidelity is trading close to its book value. The challenge with Fidelity was court issue that kind of dragged them. Fidelity has raised a chunk of money, so for the I put Fidelity and FCMB in the same bucket, even though I think FCMB has more upside to compares to Fidelity. But when you look at, I mean, the book value for Fidelity is 20.8. Stock close, I think, at 18 naira. So, what's the upside? So, 2026, people are looking for massive upside. 2026 is not the year of massive upside for FCMB and Fidelity. 2026 is a transition year for these companies. For many of these companies, most of the money they raised last year, they just got it maybe 2 3 months ago. So, the money has not even been fully deployed. So you need to give these companies 1 year to raise the money. And in terms of transparency, like Charles said, FCMB is the most transparent. Go and play, it's online, it's available, it's on the FCMB page. Go and play FCMB investor call. Go and play Fidelity call. Fidelity has already told people how much they are going to pay as dividend this year. And I stand by my statement, because when a company has given you their target profit before tax, you knock off 30% and you divide it by its outstanding shares, you have gotten its earnings per share. Once you have the earnings per share, you can calculate whether it's 30, 40, 50% of payouts. So they've told you all you need to know. Go and play their content. Go and read. If you don't have the time, go to download the investor presentation. 20, 30 pages, simple pages, you are done. So Fidelity has room to run, but I don't see Fidelity doing more than 22, 23 naira this year, which is not bad, but it's a transition year for Fidelity. I would say check Fidelity in the next 2, 3 years. That's a 30 to 40 naira stock.
One,
For
one funny.
Access, it's quite
Go ahead.
simple.
Yep.
Access has a perception issue. Access is the cheapest tier one banking name. But even if you look at most analyst reports, the target price most people have for Access is maybe 30, 35, 40. Meanwhile, Access should be trading at, if you're looking at the full book value of Access, it's 79 a share. But Access has a perception issue. When you don't explain things properly to the public, when you don't come out to outline Access, I have said this in one of our chats, we said this, it's not enough for you to say you are buying banks. When you go and listen to Segun Agbaje of GTCO, Segun will tell you, here is what we are doing, here is why we are doing it, here is our expectation. Access needs to start talking like that. You have bought all these banks. For some of the, if you ask a layman on the street, why the Access go to a certain country in Naira and Kobo terms, they can't tell you. So Access has a perception issue. Till they can paint a better picture, till they can explain to people why, where they are going to, when can people see the benefits. Once they do that, people will price it into the market. So that is the issue, one issue that Access has. Two is, because Access is such a big bank, managing all those banks, I mean, how old are some of these acquisitions? Some are 2 years old, some are 3 years old. If you bought a bank 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you can't expect the bank to start delivering full potential. It might take them another 2, 3 years to maximize returns on those banks. So Access is the biggest bank in the country. Eventually, Access will scale up. But I always will say, Access has two options. Some of these acquisitions, I suspect, will be suboptimal. They will exit them. I don't get why Access, for instance, anyway, I don't think they are pursuing their South African goals. There are some countries, from a trade perspective, I don't know why Access is there. But like I said, they've not done a good job. Access might have to unwind some of those acquisitions. And at the same time, Access would need to scale up some of those plays. So Access is a 4, 5 year play. It's not a near term play. I give them a couple of years, and I think Access should be better. I see comments on Wando. I'm not discussing Wando. Maybe Seth could discuss Wando. Wando is not what's my discussion at any point in time. Any reason why Wando is yet to release their 2025 BFS? Maybe it's an accounting team. So I don't know why. I've discussed everything. I have nothing else to say today. So I guess we've done about almost 2 hours, 40 minutes. We can call it a day, right?
Yeah, and
I'm not so.
for every other question that I'm seeing on the platform, if you go and check our videos on this platform, all those questions would have been answered as to is there substantial value or upside in UACN? Yes, we have not seen a quarter of the synergy that Chi brings to UACN yet. There has been a lot of redeployment within the organization just to make sure that they get uh, everything from that Chivita acquisition. A lot of people have been push into Chivita. And, a lot of things are happening. You haven't seen a quarter of of the synergy we are expecting in UACN yet. So just get that at the back of your mind. Link Assure, if you have Link Assure, the only thing I will tell you, hold it tightly. Beggar Paint is a very well-run company, and it will continue to be so. So if you have Beggar Paint again, hold it. Uh, every other question here, like when I see some of these questions, I can tell some of you are first-time listeners to this platform. I will ask you subscribe, go to the videos and check the companies you are looking for. There's no company that analysis has not been done on. So that's what I would say, because I'm just looking at all these questions. They are just basically the same questions we are getting. And Benefit is a good stock. Then I think they have met the requirement for the new capitalization. WAPCO, WAPCO is a must-have in your portfolio because since the Chinese are now running that company, you are going to see what they call super efficiency. So all the fears, Onome just said that, all the fears people had about them delisting is far-fetched. Uh, WAPCO is like national treasure. It's not something that will fly, because you need approval from several organizations. WAPCO is not just a company that is starting. WAPCO has been in existence for a very long time in the country. So, like, all those who are scared that WAPCO is going to go private, discard those fears. I just think sometimes these rumors are created by people who want to like get these equities for cheap. So don't sell your WAPCO for cheap. Hold on to your WAPCO. Like I said, there are certain stocks we refer to as retirement stocks. If you have them in your portfolio, you keep adding and adding and adding until you get to that point where you say, okay, if I retire and these people pay me half year dividend, you should be able to take care of me for the next 6 months or thereabout. And that's how you should be looking at investment. Um, Start teaching your kids how to invest early. Uh, we will continue to do this. If it's something that you guys like, depending on the number of likes, depending on the number of subscriptions we get when we do this, that will determine whether this is going to be a regular thing. But all things being equal, we enjoy the fact that there's so much audience participation in this, and with time too, we might be bringing some of you to come on live and ask your questions, so that we're able to like put a face to who we are talking to. We are very transparent people. We are not hiding anything. So we'll continue to make sure that you get quality market information. But again, it's not for this information to just stay with you. We want you guys to let other people know, let people be aware that there's a platform that promotes financial education and financial independence for well-meaning Nigerians. You understand? And that would once you have financial independence, your chances of taking good decisions becomes better. You cannot be compromised easily because, I mean, like you have a price then. So let's continue to support the channel by subscribing, by sharing, and we are going to be going on other platform. We are doing it on YouTube today. Maybe next week we might decide to do it on Rumble, which is another platform. So we want to appeal to everybody, the young ones. We might decide to do a TikTok live one day. So we have plans. We want to be all inclusive. We want a situation where everybody is seeing this and they are thinking, yeah, that's true. I could be making some money for myself here rather than wasting time and not doing anything. So it's been nice being with you guys here. Some of us at the end of this show, we still go and do our normal jobs for the day, and yeah, that's the sacrifice we make, and we enjoy doing it. We are not complaining. We actually enjoying doing this for all of you. So thank you once again. Is Sanko still there? Onome, we can't hear you. Onome, we can't hear you.
All right. So I said we didn't get any questions about the brewery space, but I'll just touch on that space. All I'll tell people is go and watch all. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I might just decide for the fun of it to just touch on brewery space sometime next week or whenever, or maybe I'll do it on Spotify. But in any case, Nigerian Breweries is a 100 naira stock. Nigerian Breweries is the biggest brewer in this country, and the Nigerian Breweries is the cheapest brewer by 4 days. So I think people, if you have a 3 4 year timeline, the only possible enemy against the breweries in the country is your foreign exchange rates and taxes. If your FX rate stays steady, if taxes don't go up dramatically for them in that space, those companies have a long way to go. So I think Nigerian breweries of what the brewers has the most upside. For more context, I would say you can check any of the pre-market videos I think I did maybe last 2 weeks of them. Other than that, I thank you all for joining. If you are new here, please put on your notifications. There's a possibility that we may set up a similar live stream tomorrow. I don't know when, don't know what time, because we're all in different time zones. All I would say is put on your notifications so you get to know when we go live. Follow on all platforms. If you check the description, you can find all platforms. If you're not sure, we'll pin all the social media handles. We'll pin them to the a comment, and it will be the top pin comment on this live stream once we're done. Thank you all for joining. Have yourselves a lovely rest of the day.